Hello and welcome back to the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you?
I'm great. Things are good.
Yeah?
It's still disgusting out, but you know.
It's emotionally it's hitting me. It's freezing.
It's that time of year. I think
we're ready to move on.
I know I say that your birthday is the worst time of the year, but I
Yes.
think March is actually worse than that because you've been doing this longer.
Right.
And it's just everyone's over it. We're all over it.
March is a weather month situationship.
Yes. You're hopeful.
Sometimes, right? And sometimes it'll fuck you with some hot weather.
Occasionally.
And then sometimes they're like, I can't hang out today. It's going to be freezing.
Right.
Right? You're
wintry
on this,
mix.
I hate wintry mix. Wintry mix can go fuck itself.
Exactly. Get the hell out of here.
Out of my face. What's going on otherwise? Oversharing, a hit. People love it. I'm a huge fan.
I look forward to every Tuesday. I love getting your texts,
My reviews,
your reviews of the episode. This week was a shock that my sister had agreed to the the tour of the what was it the timeshare.
The timeshare. This is who I'm getting therapy from. She's taking timeshare tours. That is like one of those things I want to know on the door. Like, are you a Disney adult?
Oh
Are you a timeshare tour person?
She didn't actually buy the timeshare. Okay.
To take a timeshare tour, I would pay them money to get out of my fucking face. You're at the beach. She said she was in an office on the episode. She's like, she goes, that was the part I laughed out loud. She goes, why can't they just do their pitch on the beach while I'm sitting there with a margarita? No, that's not how deals get made on the fucking beach. Naomi,
next time you're debating, give Jared a call.
Yeah, call me. Screaming.
Say, my friend wants to discuss this with you, and then you'll know that they'll kick you out.
I would be like, kick me in the nuts and then go away. I'd be like, just kick me in the balls. I'll deal with the pain instead of having to look at them in the eye 1 minute. Just get away.
Now you know.
Shoo.
Never try and sell Jared a timeshare.
No.
He'll kill you.
When you guys were talking about how many weeks to go to the same vacation, I was dying laughing. It was very funny.
Thank you.
So everyone, you got to listen to Oversharing. I have a brief announcement, if that's
Let's
okay.
hear it.
Before we get into, we have
a few announcements.
Buckle
up.
Yeah, but you're in Plug City right now, people.
Yes.
Okay, Plug City number 1. Are You Up Live tour?
Are You Up Live tour? We're coming to 5 cities.
Right.
We are coming to Chicago, May 18th. Philly, I think June 15th. And then there's Boston, there's New York, and there's DC. in June, at the end of June. So check it out. Betches.co/youuplive. Get your tickets. They're selling quick, and now they're not on pre-sale anymore. They're on regular sale. So make sure you get your tickets.
Every show is different. Every show is fun. Every show is interesting. Every show is made for you to bring someone who doesn't listen to the show.
Bring a friend.
That's a big part of this. I know podcast shows, you feel that you're listening alone. You're not listening with a group usually. Every show we do is meant for the entire group chat to hang, have fun, play Red Flag Deal Breaker, get involved with, the dating app makeover, booing, hissing, cheering, laughing, crying. It's one big fucking mess, and you want to come, so get those tickies now.
Highly produced big fucking mess.
A highly produced. Right. So that's announcement 1. Get those tickies, and do it now. I know you're like, I'll get them the week before. Chicago sold out last time. They all sell out.
Yeah.
Don't be that person.
Don't be that person DMing.
No, don't be DMing Steen.
Yes.
Sending me, my one friend couldn't get a ticket. Get the tickets now. Announcement 2.
Let's hear it.
We're going to do recaps on the Bachelor podcast. I am the co-host with K York City of the Bachelor podcast.
I forgot her last name because her Instagram is so ingrained in my head.
She is K York City to me.
Kay Brown.
Kay Brown and I, we do the Bachelor podcast. We're extending the universe. We're going to do recaps of Love is Blind.
I love that. Did you know that you and I recapped an entire season of Love is Blind on this show? when it came out years ago, and that was actually one of our top performing episodes of all time.
It people really got into it.
There's so much to make fun of.
They sent us screeners, so I watched episode 1 for season 4. It is so different than The Bachelor. Like The Bachelor, like I know the beats, I know what to make fun of. This is like it's depthy.
Yeah,
there's things to talk about. It's weird, you know, the idea of this experiment that they all think they're smart for even. You remember how they talked about the experiment?
Nick Lachey.
Nick Lachey, Vanessa Lachey. So there's a lot to talk. I have a lot of shit to talk.
I have a question. Do you watch any TV that you are not paid to recap? I feel like you don't watch any shows unless
unless I am.
That's how you'll know
hired.
a show is good.
Well, I do watch some shows.
You'll know a show is good if Jared watches it without being paid.
I am the worst. This is like when someone's like, I just want to be on a Netflix and chill with my guy. I'm not that guy.
Why? What are you watching?
Pimple Popper.
Okay.
Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. Sports Center is on just in the background.
Okay.
That's headphones on. I'll listen to other podcasts. I really don't.
Well, now you got
Marvel movies.
Vanderpump Rules.
The Pump sounds great right now. It sounds like it's the time to get in.
Go back to season 1.
Come on. Get out of here.
I promise you, it is a ride you will never forget.
I used to watch it. That feels like eons ago that I watched that show.
I'm rewatching from the beginning so that Mike can watch it with me.
So he's in?
I've gotten him in.
He was like, what's going I understand that.
I've gotten him in.
The world is talking about this cheating scandal. Okay, let's go to season 1.
Yeah.
I get that.
I mean, there's the thing. There's like one bad season and it was like 3 years ago. The rest of them, all great.
Right. I don't know. It's funny. I've had this thought a lot to bring it to what we do on the show. Mm-hmm. I'm so used to this. You know, I remember my relationship self.
Okay.
And I'm so used to this disgusting version of single me. I'm like, I don't even know how I would operate in a relationship now.
Probably the same way you did before.
But maybe that wasn't really me. Which is the real me? Who am I?
What would you not do that you used to do?
I don't know. I think of how much time I spend on my phone. I'm like, I could never do that. Like if I was in a relationship, who would be with me with this much time on the phone?
I think once you're in a serious relationship, that's when the phone comes back.
It comes back.
It takes a brief little, but it's like people are like, you ignore your friends when you're dating someone new.
Right.
That would be you.
One of my friends.
With your phone. Yeah. But eventually everyone just wants to be on their phone. No one wants to just talk to the same person all the time, constantly.
I know. But you're right.
I just had a funny memory in my head where I'm thinking back to when we did the episode with the lists, and my list said, looking for an intellectual, and then I just said that Mike and I are watching Vanderpump Rules from season 1. So I guess I'm the pretentious bitch.
Right.
It's not even an accurate take on who I am.
Well, you're looking at it from an intellectual viewpoint.
Yes,
you're not like those idiots who just think that they're
want to destroy things.
Right. You know, you're looking at it like, oh, what is Tom's mental state right now? You say shit like that.
On it.
Yeah,
yes.
you're a thesis watcher.
Totally.
I think we all think of ourselves as like, I think that way with me in The Bachelor. I'm like, no, I'm watching it in the smart way.
Exactly. It's the highbrow version.
Right.
Of the
We're all just garbage pieces of shit. I don't know. I feel like a big piece of shit right now.
Well,
we got the popcorn, boom chicka front.
Do you want to talk about you were telling me a story before about
I always got a story
on an app?
Yeah. I got to get off the apps, I think. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I feel like the old guy at the party that's there too long.
Yeah.
Like is Jared?
I don't think you are, but I can imagine why you'd be like, I'm seeing like it feels like not fun anymore.
It's not fun. I don't know. I had this experience. So it is funny that you bring up the list. Mm-hmm. Because the list, if you think about it, you go, everyone has the list pre-written in their head to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm on Raya. And I match with this woman, and she kind of has the elements of my list.
She hits all the.
She's
all the boxes.
Dark hair, looks Jewish. I can see where she's from. I'm like, oh, I know people from that area. What and you go, and it's weird. And this is sad. I'll admit to a sad truth that you get excited about a profile sometimes.
I don't think that's sad at all. A profile is a resume.
Right. I get it. You're right.
You're like
right.
this person. I'm hiring for this job. This person has everything I was looking for in a candidate.
Right.
I'd love to get to an interview.
That's kind of where I was at. And we started having this conversation, and the conversation, it started out well. I'm like, wow, we're
vibing.
We're vibing. Okay. And then I said something along my Raya bio, which not a lot of people have a Raya bio because I'm an intellectual. So I have a Raya bio. And it's funny because I got I wasn't drunk. I was drinking last night.
Okay.
I wasn't drunk. A little defensive.
It's okay if you were.
Yeah, it's okay. It was the women tell all for The Bachelor.
Okay.
So it's night 2 of 2 nights in a row. It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I'm watching. So it's Tuesdays I generally have just like, it's not a lot going on for me, which I like. So I went to Soho House.
Okay.
That's right. Fancy ass bitch I am.
Better than you.
That's right.
Just a little bit.
If you're not in, you're out. So that's their motto.
That's their motto.
It's a lot like Olive Garden.
Except the opposite.
Mean.
When you're here, we still don't really give a shit about you.
Right. When you're here, we're better than you.
When you're not here, we're really better than you.
Right. So I'm swipey. I have a glass of wine, led to a espresso martini. Go home to go watch. I start talking with this person, and the conversation, my bio on Raya.
Okay.
I enjoy complaining.
Yes.
That's my bio. Okay.
I like it.
If you're listening to the show, you probably agree. Yeah, Jared, right. You seem to enjoy complaining.
And it's a great thing for like, I told you, you know what I mean? Like I was upfront with you. It's like almost like it's letting you get away with a little more.
Right.
Yeah. You're
signing up for a complainer. So this person wrote to me, I love complaining too. I go, what are you complaining about these days? So then they said what they're complaining about. I was like, and then I wrote back with my complaint recently, and I told you before we started taping. My complaint is that restaurants don't let you. They should have a thing on the menu of every restaurant that lets you divide based on how many in your party.
On the plate. Right?
On the plate. Yeah. So if you and I went for dinner, we want it in 2. Everything 2 plates of every. So if we get
pre-shared.
Pre-shared. Yeah. We are living in a world that is made for the prior generation with restaurants that are made for our generation. Our generation, we want choice. We want to spread ourselves around the menu. We want tapas. We want to have a little of that, little of this, little of that. But with the costs of goods these days, you want to be able to like whack it up.
Can I see how you wrote it?
I can't.
Okay. We'll get there.
So I wrote this complaint.
I haven't seen the raw materials. So
right. I know this is hard. You're getting it from my perspective.
Yes.
Admittedly. She didn't write back. I wrote this long. Can you believe she didn't get back to that 10-minute complaint?
You wrote a ChatGPT sent a 16-page essay on what you were.
I sent her a short 2,000-word essay
thesis on sharing
on how the generations, the divide between.
Okay.
Also, let me give a
You're
not
a self-aware
plug.
person. Did you sound crazy?
I thought it was fun.
Okay.
I in my opinion. Also, I'm a writer.
Okay.
Trust the writer. So I can I think I can self-edit. Also, let me give a non-plug. Should we talk shit? I went to a restaurant that was. No, here's my non-plug. TikTokers who give restaurant recommendations, they're awful.
Okay.
I
wouldn't go to TikTok for a restaurant recommendation.
Well, they're all over my For You page. I went to this place that TikTok is like gushing about, but I think they paid off all these TikTok
Well, let's
people.
discuss it because they're not paying.
Well, Arthur and Son, I mean, that's just Gen Z Maggiano's.
What is Maggiano's?
Maggiano's is a garbage place that's delicious.
Okay.
It's a big Italian family style place that in the
early
aughts, late 90s, my parents would love.
Okay.
Because it's tons of food. It's just tons of pasta.
Okay. Family style?
Family style. So go in the middle of the table, and it would be like okay Italian, but you get a lot of it.
Right.
This was
like Carmine's. Anyone been to?
I would say
Carmine's
probably similar vibe.
Okay.
This was half the portion, twice the expense, just as good as Maggiano's.
Okay.
So not a good deal.
Got it.
And the crowd there, everyone looked like, I felt cheesy for being there because I'm like, with all these, it was like Bridge and Tunnel TikTok.
That's why you can't go to a TikTok place because that's who's there.
I was too old. Everyone there seemed cheeseball.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk shit. I'm sure they're nice people, but it seems like the guy's a marketing guy more than a restaurateur.
Okay. You weren't into it.
Not into it.
You digress.
I digress. That's a non-plug.
Okay. So back to
this. So we're talking about portions.
You're talking about portions.
I am.
Okay.
She doesn't answer.
She doesn't answer.
And now I'm stuck because she has this resume of someone successful.
You want it to work.
I want it to work.
Right.
So now I'm pushing. So then I wrote back to my thing. I'm sorry if I came too hard with my complaint.
Okay.
To acknowledge
Yes.
maybe my complaint didn't work. That was what I felt it was, an acknowledgement. She writes back, kind of lost you at the end.
Well, that's
like,
why I don't
okay.
know how long you went.
Right. It wasn't 1,000 words.
Fine.
So it was half an iPhone screen.
Okay.
Not even that. No. Quarter iPhone screen.
I'll take your word. It wasn't a thesis, right?
So then we get on this other, so I'm trying to like weave. I'm like, so how's the week going? And it's like, oh, it's been a comedic, tragic, a traumatic comedy week for me. And I go, I love a dramedy. Because dramedy is an actual,
Right.
a type of
Dramatic
show.
comedy. Yeah.
Dramatic comedy, which to me is the same as a comedies of trauma. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. She writes back, no, traumatic comedy. And I'm like, all right, what's the trauma?
Why? Yeah.
Let's get us. And then she wrote something, and then I go, but it was again about the trauma thing. And I'm like, and I said, I'm trying to get us off the topic. I even said to her, I was like, I'm trying to get us into new places and try to be fun with it. As much as this sounds like I'm like losing my mind. And it got to a point, and I think a lot of people feel this way, where it's like when someone just doesn't ask you a question back, or you write, hey, how's your weekend? And it feels like you're pulling teeth. And there's a point where you go, I got to get out of and I said to myself, I said, Jared, you're getting too frustrated. And there was a point where she mentioned material. So I thought maybe she'd look me up on Raya. They give your Instagram. So I'm like, you'll have more material. It was like that type of talk. And I was like, is she saying I'll have more material?
Maybe she meant more material for your complaining.
Maybe. Listen, I like to think I understand what people are talking about on these things. I mean, I don't think I'm crazy. But it was a point where I was like, ugh, I wanted this to work. She seemed like she had the resume of someone, but this chat isn't going down.
Okay.
So I unmatch.
Okay.
I go, Jared, unmatch. Don't even have the temptation. Because there is this moment on dating apps where you have this thing where you're like, I need to open myself up. Everyone is an option. Why am I getting so... You do get annoyed in a way you don't want to be annoyed.
Right.
You don't. This should be fun. And then you start doubting yourself. You go, well, maybe the people I'm most annoyed about are the ones I don't go out with, and it's because I'm too lazy and I don't try. And I'm only going out with the people who are easier to go out with. Mm-hmm. And you start blaming yourself. You're like, oh, Jared, you lazy fuck. This is what you've done all the time.
Okay.
And then I woke up this morning. I have a DM from the person.
So she says...
And the DM is, and I'll let you read, you can see the receipts here.
Okay.
You can read it.
Adding to my trauma, getting unmatched on Raya.
She's back in trauma land.
Okay. That's a funny statement if you're going to reach out. It's keeping it light, no?
Sure, but I even tried so hard to get off the trauma bus. So, like, the whole conversation was me trying to, like, I don't know what we're talking about. So read what I wrote.
And you wrote...
I got real. I was like,
I have to admit I was excited to talk to you because you check boxes for me, beautiful and successful, but that was a frustrating conversation for me. Felt like I was being messed with a bit. And then she says, not at all, but totally respect that. I don't really...
Right?
That's not really...
But
like
again, this should give you a window in.
And
I don't know what the fuck that means. And also, why are you here in the first...
And then you're like, and my family's from blank, got a lot of boxes.
Right. I'm adding on, like, there was another reason. My family's from where you're from.
Right.
That's a lot of boxes. Like, kind of opening the door to, like, reveal why you're in my DMs.
I agree. It's kind of like, well, like, why reach out if you're not going to be giving more? And I was saying this to you before, like, I think that there's a certain girl who does outreach like this where it's kind of like they'll make the first move, but then they want to be chased.
Right.
So,
I agree with that.
Which it seems like she did twice here, where it was like first move a little bit, and then I'm kind of like not going to give you anything until you ask me out or until we're on the date.
Right.
I think you see that a lot. And I can understand the mentality of like, okay, I think there's something that's taught to you in society of like, don't be the aggressive pursuer. And we say this too, it's like give someone an opening and then let them do it.
Right. If they wanted to, they would.
Something like
that. But we
that.
have like a fucking past here of, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right. I think this is more just like a texting dynamic that wasn't really working for you guys, that wasn't running smoothly.
I guess not. But the thing is, I will say, like, you know, you could say, well, listen, first of all, I do understand what you're saying, and I have empathy for that. I've been, you know, especially being a woman, I can understand, and from knowing this podcast, I've spun my wheels too many times. I'm done.
Or like the guy that I message is probably down to sleep with me, but I want to see if he's trying to make something else happen.
I guess. I mean, I'm
not saying it's like a good way to go about things.
It's a pretty cynical way.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm trying to feel that, you know, again, we have our SOS episode coming out Sunday with a listener came on and she was great, but we talked about two people holding the door open for one another. No one going through. And that's a little bit relatable here. Like maybe she's like, I've opened the door. Now it's your turn to like do something too. And I go, and even still I'm sitting here going, I walked away from it because I'm like, don't let the temptation fool you. The conversation didn't go well enough.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the reason people speak to each other before going on a date.
Right. But then the conversation comes back to your front door and you go, and there is this element of like, should I just...
You really wanted it to work.
And even with the people you know that this isn't a good move probably, chances are low.
Right.
You know, if I looked at the magic 8-ball.
Yeah.
You know.
So what is, if we're getting to the heart of like what is so enraging about this to you? Like what is...
I guess it comes.
What is the feeling that
the feeling? I think the enraging part and I don't think I'm alone in this is you make a lot of you're dealing in a world of trade-offs.
Okay.
On dating, you go, oh well, and this is because of the way dating apps are made, which is probably not healthy. You're given the resume.
Yeah.
And you look at the resume and you go, and in most resumes you go, yeah, but I'm attracted.
Right.
Right? Or you go, successful, not that attracted. You know, you kind of do this, you know, Venn diagram of things. And when you see someone that you go, oh, I kind of.
I like all of it. Yeah.
I like this resume. You're like, and then it goes away. You're like surprised by. You're like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, like, and it's a moment of exhaustion, I think.
So you're more like exhausted than you are actually mad.
Oh, right.
Which kind of makes sense because that's how people really describe burnout. I think when you hear about burnout, it's usually people who are kind of if you're easily irritated by something, that's like one of the first signs of burnout is that you should that it's too much.
Right. Right. And I unmatching was my solution because I'm like, just get out of here. You know, like I was just like, I'm being Mr. Miserable.
Right. I mean, again, I think I can see why you would interpret like what she was doing as annoying, but I think it's more, to me, it's more like the interesting thing to look at is like why it makes you feel so strong.
Right. Well, then I think the feeling is also like, I know this is me. This wasn't bad person who fucked with me. Okay. This is me being like, well, Jared, just get out of this game. You know, you kind of go, what are you even looking for? You have this list, go fuck yourself. If someone likes hanging around with you and you make good conversation, just fucking hang it up. And you gotta, you know, there's that.
What is this conversation then take from that or give to that?
Well, it's the realization of like, there is no perfect start. Maybe, this, oh, it's easy in the beginning. Well, maybe it's easy in the beginning, and then you're a year in and you go, maybe I got to end it.
Is the frustration, is the frustration like, it just feels like it's just not working?
Yeah. This just isn't.
Yeah.
This isn't working. Yeah. I even when it should, it doesn't work. You know, like, and I don't know. This example it's just interesting to me just because when it came back, like I wouldn't have talked about this if I didn't get a DM. And then in my mind, my DMs back were, hey, there's a door open here to like, sorry, that didn't go well. Totally down to talk. I don't know.
I do think it's strange because you would think if someone reaches back out to you or goes out of their way to reach out to you and find you and try to come back, you would think they would come back with a little bit more deference or humility or they're trying to,
right,
as opposed to just because it seemed like what bothered me about the conversation and the other person on the end of it is that it seemed like you were coming at it with like a vulnerability of like I
told her I was excited. I said you're beautiful and you success.
A vulnerability and a compliment, and it didn't seem like she was giving much back. Which again, to me, it's like that's the whole. That's great that you had that conversation. It's better than you went out with someone, both wasted a night, and then realized that after.
We could have been at Arthur and Son, wasting our calories
exactly
on that garbage food. Okay, let's do some awkward stuff. I'm sorry for going on and on.
It's fine. I think we made some progress. I think. Like, what is your? Sorry to bring it back to that, but what is your like? Is your takeaway that you want to take a break? Like, how do you? Because I feel like you do feel activated a lot from these apps. Like, do you have a solution?
I have no solution. This is the second way. This is the second week in a row where I feel like I'm complaining. I mean, and I don't want to be the complainer.
That's what you mean.
I do
that's
like
what
to
you
do
just
it.
Already preempted. This is one of your favorite activities. I don't think there's anything wrong with complaining. It's just more like if it's not fun for you, maybe that's the thing to look at.
Right. I don't know. I'm about to be here for a month.
Great time to get back on it.
Well, it's going to be the first month in a long time that I'll just be in New York the whole month of April.
Oh, wow.
And there's a piece of me that's like, because I'm going to Europe again in Plug City. If you're listening right now, I'm in Spokane, then I'm kind of in Oklahoma City, then I go on my European tour.
Rendezvous.
I come back and I go to Kansas City, Nashville, Lexington, Charlotte, jaredfree.com for tickets. So I have this like month to do one of a couple things. It's either no drinking, health month.
Okay.
Get my shit straight, go to Europe feeling like $1 million. Or it's like date month. You know, where what
if it's
consistent, maybe stick with a first date through a third date month. Stick with a third date through a fifth date month. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Maybe it's that.
I think it's month. Limit the amount of people you're going out with. Go out with them. Drink 2 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need to like be like extreme on like all one or the other. Let's do two nights a week, 2 dates a week, 2 drinking nights a week.
Right.
Right?
I think that's a good solution.
And then you'll have your balance.
Then I'll be back.
Yes.
Jared, we used to know on this podcast instead of Mr. Complainsy.
I mean, that's what we do.
It is what we do. That is a podcast.
But I think if you find yourself getting more easily irritated, that to me is a good signal from your internal body, which is having these reactions.
That makes it sound like I'm like turning into the Incredible Hulk. You shall not unmatch me.
I don't mean for it to
like I hope it don't sound like a monster.
No, I don't mean for it to sound like that at all. I think it's just more like if people are saying, because whenever I'm like super easily irritated, I'm like, okay, it's probably not everyone else. And I'm not saying that you're screaming at anyone or that it's about like a rejection thing. It's just about like a general, again, like feeling strong, like what's the word? I just burned out by it.
Right. I think you're right. Let's do some awkward sex.
Let's give it a try.
Ready? Hey, J&J, major fan and subscriber. Here, listen, people. If you, I got a lot of good feedback this week from like my mental breakdown episode. If you're out there and you want more,
you want more mental breakdown, tune in.
Yeah, the You Up With Benefits is $3 a month. It's on Apple. It's on, you just search You Up With Benefits on Spotify. It's on Apple. You can just hit that button. 2 extra podcasts a month.
And ad-free.
Ad-free, a day early. It's where, I mean, all I get is compliments about it.
People love those.
Okay.
No buyer's remorse.
None. I hate when people do that. None.
It's very Trump sounding.
Yeah. None. Just, I hate when people enunciate after they say it's such a douchey thing.
It is.
No buyer's remorse. None. It's such a, like a mom.
You're getting nothing.
Nothing. It is a mom thing. So this encounter is fresh and honestly still has me gagging a bit to think about it. About a week and a half ago, I met up with a friend to play some pool, and an Irish buddy of his from work joined us. Super cute. Had a great accent. Had only been in the country for 3 months. Fresh meat.
Fresh.
We had a great banter. The flirting was smooth and fun. 3 of us kept the night going and moved things to a nearby brewery where my friend ended up leaving since the drinking definitely caught up with him. So it was just me and the Irish guy. We ended up taking things back to my place, but in the course of chatting as we were setting up at the brewery, he mentioned he was 24, which is definitely younger than I'd expected. I'm 33. My first thought was, uh-oh, but over the course of what we'd been talking about, I figured the hookup would still be fine. All right.
Why not?
Once we got back to my place, things progressed pretty quickly, and I was having a good time until about halfway through. At this stage, he's on top and asks very quickly, without waiting for me to respond, he asked if he could spit in my mouth.
Okay. That we know we're out of COVID now.
That's the end.
Right? It's over. In case, you know.
Rise the sign. Mission accomplished.
I mean,
right.
Pretty much, right?
Right.
Before it was we were using gloves and masks to you would stay within 6 feet of each other. Now we're back to spitting in each other's mouths. We have
Get
healed.
the loogie ready.
What does the CDC say about that?
They say, boner time. Without waiting for me to respond, he asked if he could spit in my mouth. Not to yuck someone's yum, but that is not what I'm into at all. Specifically in the mouth. As I register the question through the fuzz of alcohol and think, oh, hell no. I open my mouth to refuse, and to my horror, a thick, ropey glob of spit drops into my mouth.
That's fucked up. She did not consent.
No.
Why are you even asking if you're not going to
right.
accept someone's consent?
Especially the mouth has to open to answer.
Yeah, that's rude.
It's not like she went, like she was at the dentist.
That's rude.
Fucked
I
up.
find this to be a violation.
I agree because I think I have to. No, I totally agree. This is like, but just the idea that someone's like, can I spit in your mouth? And you go, well.
Well, that's one way to make sure you get a yes.
Right.
Just like close your mouth, never speak again if the answer is no.
You have to like, I mean, that is
blink if it's okay.
Right. It's so insane. I open my mouth and refuse to my horror. Thick, ropey glob. I mean, this woman, great writer. Thick, ropey glob.
I'm envisioning it.
Thick, ropey glob. That is tattooed to my brain. Get ready for this thick, ropey glob.
Ugh.
Spit drops into my mouth. I proceed to gag and cough several times. That's when you have to know it didn't go well.
Yeah, if your sexual partner is gagging and coughing, it's not a good sexual experience.
I proceed to gag and cough several times to get it out of my mouth. And while that's going on, we change positions. Turn over. Like, what?
I don't like this
Does
at
this
all.
guy not know? Like, is there no listening skills?
I don't like it.
I don't like it at all. We change positions. He can't see my face. I don't know if he's trying to look at your face. It sounds like he's not looking for any clues.
He was looking. Now that he's got the spit in, he's done with the face.
He's moved on. Well, I'm still processing how gross that just was for me and how to bring it up through the boozy haze. He spits on my back. Was this guy a camel?
Ew, it's clearly a thing for him.
At this point, I'm just kind of dumbfounded and speechless. Later, he asked to spit in my mouth again. Clearly not having caught my reaction the first time, but I managed to say no in time, thankfully. It made me gag just writing this, so hope it doesn't gross y'all out too much. Definitely not my kind of kink. Thanks for keeping dating entertaining. I like that they still have a positive attitude at the end of this, but I would be annoyed.
Yeah, I think that's like a violation to be like, to ask someone, if you're going to ask for consent, you should get the consent.
Right.
Like...
Also, I think there's got to be a point in the sexual experience where, like, do me the solid of like whispering that hypothetically in my ear.
Right.
Like if a woman was on top of me and she's like in my ear going, I just want to put a thick ropey glob of spit in your mouth, I would take it in. I'd go
think about it.
Let me think.
And then in the next encounter, maybe you'd be like.
Well, then I'd go back to her ear. No. Right?
Oh, yeah. Or it might be too late by then.
It depends how good a spitter she is.
Ugh. This was gross. This annoyed me. And
it's annoying. Yeah. And it's just annoying. Dude.
It just feels disrespectful.
It is.
Me.
That's what gets him off, the disrespect of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever spit in someone's mouth? This is
I would not like this.
You wouldn't like this. Is a very new.
Is this the thing?
Well, now it's in the oeuvre. It's in the zeitgeist. The spit in my mouth.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe it became so taboo in COVID
that it actually got hot. Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. I don't know. You hear this a lot, though. Oh, I want him to spit in my mouth. Or this is something I hear comedians joke about sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how much laughter.
Would you be into it?
I would be into the idea that she was into something.
Okay.
Like if she was like, this is what gets me off, like it would like make me turned on to hear she gets turned on by something a little different, I guess. But I don't know how thick and ropey the glob is.
What if she's just spitting all over you the whole time?
She'd have to be a good spitter. There's an element of like if she was like Daffy Duck.
She's just drooling.
Yeah, I don't want that shit.
Just falling slowly.
Right. If she does the thing that like I used to do to my little brother where you just take the spit and like slurp it up.
Basically just teething right on you. That's very funny. I guess it would probably be good for her head giving capabilities.
I guess there's a thing in the head game where you see the women that are like a little too much. The spit is like a big part of their process. Okay. And I'm always cool with that. There's no such thing as too much. If you're a big whatever.
This is her style.
Yeah, you just say, yeah, that's her. You're like, oh, good for you. You have an artistic vision.
This would be a deal breaker for me.
It's a red flag for me just on the idea that like, give me a chance to like warm up to the idea.
Yeah. It's not hot. I agree when it's like too intense very quickly.
Right. And I think it's more hot when someone is like, I think the lead into it. This is something I wanted. Like if it was a whisper in the ear, but it's just the immediate, like, I'm just like, hey, you want me to get you something from the,
right.
Like he's just talking like, you need water. Oh, what was that? Did you just spit in my mouth?
Yeah, too much.
Do you have names?
Maddie had the slobber robber, which I like.
Love
Definitely
that.
slobber, something slobbery in there.
The slobber knobber.
That's good, slobber knobber.
I had Joe Camel. I had the spit take.
That's good.
Loogie love.
Loogie love, wow.
The spittoon swoon. The human spittoon.
Oh, I like that.
That's a fun one.
Spit or get off the pot.
Love that one. Okay,
should we do an email?
Not a spitter.
There you go.
This guy
spit
won't
or
spit.
Swallow. Not a swallower, I guess.
Right.
Right?
Let's do an email.
Okay. Hi, J&J. I've been a devoted listener of the pod for quite a while now and never thought I would be writing in myself, but here I am, in desperate need of honest advice from you both, so I'll jump right in.
But here I am.
Here I am. I'm 25-year-old female who's been dating my 25-year-old boyfriend for about 4 years now. We met in college, but have been dating at distance for the majority of our relationship, living in different cities after college due to jobs, the pandemic, and most recently my decision to move to Seattle. I was in Seattle for a little over a year while my boyfriend was living in San Diego. We were as good at long distance as a couple can be, but ultimately decided late last year that we were over it. And to really become closer as a couple, we needed to be in the same city. I'm emphasizing the we because I think it's important for the email.
I agree with you.
When trying to figure out how to get to the same city, it came down to me moving to San Diego. I have a remote job and his job requires him to be in San Diego. His family and friends are there and he's also lucky enough to be living rent-free at a friend's place. What kind of a friend is this?
Right.
Originally, I said I wanted us to move in together. I felt like we were ready for that step, and I don't have friends or family in San Diego, so I thought it would help make me feel more comfortable in a new city. He said he didn't feel ready for that, so I didn't force it, and I said I would move down to San Diego and live in my own apartment on one condition. I asked if he would pitch in for my rent. Rent in San Diego is much higher than it is in Seattle, and I would be taking a big leap moving to a new city, so I figured this was fair. And he agreed. He said yes.
He said yes, he said yes, he said yes.
He said yes. Cut to February of this year, about 4 months after the decision was made, I moved out of my Seattle apartment, moved into my parents' place, and have been apartment hunting for a place in San Diego. I found the perfect apartment, and before signing a lease, I hopped on the phone to have the rent conversation.
I don't think it's going to go well.
Hello.
Time for you to cut a check.
I let him know what the difference was between my place in Seattle and this one and asked for that dollar amount per month. Worst case, he could always counter. Romantic.
I like this though.
I think she seems like she's very explicit in all of her wants, needs, and intentions.
I even like, yeah, totally. And I even like the idea of countering. Like she's even left room
she's
for
open
that.
to it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, okay. Listen, money's uncomfortable. I get it.
To my surprise, he said he thought about it and he doesn't want to pitch in for my rent anymore. He listed out all sorts of reasons. He feels like we aren't at a point in our relationship to get money involved. It would feel more romantic if he could pay for all of our dates instead. Rent in San Diego is more expensive than he thought it would be, even though he's not paying any. Right. I've added that part in. He's feeling pressure from his friends and family. To what? He's saving a lot of money for our house, living rent-free.
That's
his decision and his reasoning have led me to question everything. He still wants me to move down, but it's clear that he doesn't want to be the one who will sacrifice anything to make it happen. As much as it hurts, I think I need to end things. My question is, what more would you do if you were me? What would you do if you were me? Sincerely, moving in or moving on, Betch.
She's got to dump this guy.
Yeah, this guy sucks.
Plain and simple. There's a longer answer.
Yeah.
But no. Goodbye.
This is on so many levels. Like, I think, to me, the idea that you would move to a different city and not move in with someone is strange enough on its own. But fine. Whatever. So she wants to do that. He doesn't want to do that. She brings up the rent thing. He agrees. Just the act of like changing your mind on that the week before you're supposed to sign on something, I think is like skeevy and kind of fucked up.
After you have already told someone you would do it and then they moved in with their own parents to start looking.
Yeah. This person doesn't care about you.
No. And here's what they care about. They care about, and this is a very understandable thing, even though he's doing it in a not understandable way. But this is where my brain, it's where we sync, this guy and I. You want to be the least to blame for someone else's life decisions if you don't want to date them forever. You don't want to be the reason they moved to San Diego, even though he already is.
That.
But I'm saying he wrote a check his ass can't cash, which is, I'll be with you forever if you do these things. Now he wants to make it easier to get out. The most important part of this email to me is him being like, no, I'll pay for the dates. That is not the same at all. And he's doing that because the dates, hypothetically, our future home, all this stuff is stuff he can get out of.
Yeah.
And it's not stuff that will stick to him as far as in the court of public opinion. In the court of public opinion, you moved out of San Diego on your own and things didn't work out.
Yeah.
And he's trying to avoid being the bad guy in the movie.
To me, this is very cowardly.
Yes.
It's like instead of stating those thoughts of, I'm not really sure if I'm like, he's making all these excuses. He's not telling her what's really happening. And he's still letting her come to San Diego under the impression that they are going to be living in a house together that he is paying for.
Right. And when he's paid for nothing.
And he doesn't even pay any rent.
That's the first, that's that to me, that's like, he's not living in reality. You are. I wouldn't move anywhere with someone that hasn't paid their own rent yet. I just can't see that for myself. Like,
yeah, I mean, this guy sucks.
I feel for her. I mean, I just watched a Kevin O'Leary video on TikTok.
Was Kevin O'Leary like this guy?
Kevin, just like this guy. He was tuning
Mr.
in from Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
He was telling a story about how I should go to Arthur and Sons. So I just plugged them a third time. So he was talking about like how his kids, the minute they graduate college, he doesn't give them any money anymore. Like they have this trust that
isn't that money?
The trust stops the minute they stop education.
They get no more money after that.
The minute education's out, he goes, you can go to college the rest of your life, but the minute he's like, this is the way my mom did it with me, and this is the way I'm doing it with my kids.
The minute you stop going to school.
The minute you stop going to school, he's like, you could be a PhD on a PhD, I'll keep paying. But if the minute you're not in the school, that's when I'm done. And he was just saying, like, that's what makes you work. That's what makes you kind of like deal with reality and a little thirsty, a little bit of like, gotta get my shit together. And this guy is a version of not, the I don't pay rent, but I live in San Diego. He's living in La La Land.
Right. Yeah. He's not like a fully grown adult, not ready for a real relationship.
Right. So it's not exactly very surprising that he's operating. Oh, well, now I'm taking away that promise.
Right.
He doesn't lose anything.
Yeah. And I think it would be messed up to take it back at any point, but especially at this point, it just shows how little he cares about you having a good transition to the state where you are taking up your whole life and changing your whole life to move to San Diego to be with him.
Right. And when you were saying the we parts, it's so interesting. She's speaking in we.
Right. We've decided I need to move to San Diego. Like, if that's the case, then it should be both of your transitions.
We need to take the chance.
Right.
You're the one taking the chance. And the minute he went from we to me is the minute that's how he sees the relationship. No, I'm doing my thing. You're doing your thing.
But she sounds like she's got a good head on her shoulders. Sounds like she knows she needs to end it. She said, I think I need to end things. So good luck. You'll find someone less cheap and more considerate.
Who
pays their own rent.
Cheapness is as much as this guy doesn't want to live an adult life. And cheap.
I think they go a little hand in hand.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you're right. You ready to play some games?
Yeah, let's do it.
This week we're playing a new game called Corny or Sweet, presented by Angie's Boom Chicka Pop. Angie's Boom Chicka Pop popcorn brings you a boom of bold, craveable flavor that you can enjoy at any time on any occasion, whether you're talking a snack-sized bag on the go or unwinding with a bowl of your favorite flavor and favorite show at the end of the day. Boom Chicka Pop is the perfect, delicious, but not too indulgent snack. Now let's see if these dating scenarios are corny or sweet. So we got some Boom Chicka Pop in front of us.
This popcorn is actually quite addictive and very, very good.
If you're watching on YouTube, we have a huge bowl of it that looks out of a movie. Right.
It's enormous.
It's enormous.
Yes. Let's get into it. Okay, they bring you flowers on the first date. Jared, they bring you flowers, sweet or corny?
It's corny.
Okay.
No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. I don't care how much you're excited, how much you like the person. It would have to have been mentioned somehow along the
the first
dating. I don't know. Even if someone was like asked, they were like, and I only go out with a guy who asked me for a flower. Even when I see women on dating websites, they're like, I love a flower. You're ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything yet because the person doesn't know you, which is why I think it would be corny, but with the exception of, let's say you met say you met in a ski house and you spent the whole weekend together and you were
Okay.
basically dating for that weekend. You were like, and then you went on the first date. You already have this kind of like momentum built up from that. I think that's the only scenario where I would be like, if I was like already really into it, where I'd be like, okay, this is kind of nice.
Okay, so let me give you another scenario. You're on a great date.
Okay.
Great time. All of a sudden, one of those people who come through the restaurant selling things.
Oh, yeah. The
goes
rose sellers.
for the lady, and you go, and the guy goes, give her one. Are you sweet?
I think that's fine.
That's fine.
Cute. Yeah.
That's interesting.
How much are they?
Did you hear speaking of how much are they?
Have you ever done that?
I don't think so. I'm always like, get out of here, shoot.
Whenever that's exactly what Mike says. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. That guy's selling flowers. Like, you don't need that.
Right.
You're good.
Sometimes they're like rainbow colored. Like sometimes they look like they're plastic. You're like, what? This isn't the mood.
Yeah, I mean, it's more just like oh, they're trying to do something kind of nice. Like that's what the people who are selling them are hoping, that they like the person feels so uncomfortable and like feels like they're pressured into doing it.
That
and I'm like, great,
evil, playing making money off our discomfort.
Why else would that's a salesperson. A salesperson is trying to do whatever they need to do to sell.
To get, how do I get these flowers?
Yeah, well, it's like I don't want to make you uncomfortable by asking you if you're interested in my product.
Yeah. Okay, well, what if the flower person, I don't know.
First date we've never met before,
No.
absolutely out.
Corny.
What if someone brought you flowers?
I'd be like, what are you doing?
At any point.
I'd end up looking bad. I wouldn't know. I'm not a good actor. What
if they sent you like an edible arrangement after a great date?
I would be like, oh, fuck, this person likes me.
What if you were into them?
If I was into them, to me, any gift is like,
you don't like it.
I gotta, it's like the lights turned on in the prison yard while I'm escaping. Like, I'm like, whoa, I gotta do something now.
Right.
It's just, gift is an acknowledgement of what we're doing here. And I'm not.
It's a reveal.
It's a reveal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a big flowers guy, even though when I see flowers out, I am comforted and it does seem nice and breezy and smells good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
my home is not made for flowers.
Make it sound very scary.
It is a cave box. I just did the Women Tell All, and I did like the live streams. And there was one where Zach, the Bachelor, and Jesse Palmer go crash Bachelor viewing parties.
Oh, yeah. They're still doing that shit?
They still did it.
Okay.
You're kind of like surprised that there are these parties that are like even that size.
Right.
But I said it would be the saddest thing ever if they came and crashed my party.
It'd be you just screaming at your phone?
Literally, this is the video I made. And it's a...
Play it into the camera.
I'll play it into the camera and...
Or into the mic, rather.
Okay, so I'll play...
Watching them crash watch parties. I wish they would crash my watch party. That would be the saddest thing that they've ever seen. Oh, hey, Zach and Jesse, welcome to my watch party. Yeah, it's just me. I use the clicker and I stop it every time I yell at you and make fun of you. Yeah, no, just the sparkling seltzer. No, there's not much in the fridge. Just more sparkling seltzer.
Aww.
It's just the party I throw.
Instead of the sorority house,
Right.
all the women, it's you.
Someone saw my apartment, because you can see my apartment in the background, and someone wrote, and they thought they were writing to their friend. They're like, he lives in a shack.
I hate when that's the worst, when people think they're sending your story to someone and then making a mean comment, and then you're like, oh, actually,
I'm here.
To me. Someone once did that to me, and I was like, "Oh wow, harsh."
It's horrific.
She's like, "Oh no, I meant to like that was not that. I didn't like that. That was not about you." I'm like, "It's clearly about me."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had that happen where I've like, it'll be like, he's chubbier in person or something like really that you're like, ooh.
Oh, mine was, she always makes that face. Like, but not about you, even though you're clearly making a face in this, in this story.
That face.
Ugh, gross. Okay, let's do another one.
Good thing we're not as sensitive as some podcasters are to the comments of the people who listen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Their opening response on the dating app is, "Hey, gorgeous," heart eyes emoji.
I don't like any opening response that is a nod to looks.
I get it.
So to me, it's corny.
It is corny. What if it's, "Hey, smart looking woman"?
Better.
Better.
Still a little weird.
"Hey, Cornell, Ivy League, huh?"
No, I don't like that.
You don't like acknowledgement of Ivy League.
I think it's like a little like it almost feels like you're making fun of me. Do you know what I mean? Like Mr. Big, like Mr. Big Shot.
Oh, look at you!
Right?
Whoa, whoa! So,
Right.
so you think you're better than me?
Yeah, I think it would be like just be normal.
Right.
I would say just be normal.
Just be normal. Yeah, it's corny to me, but I don't. It wouldn't. I'm not like, oh, I can't fuck this woman who called me
she called you
gorgeous.
gorgeous?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I was still entertained.
Well, what if she was like, hey, Mr. Jimmy Fallon? Or is it Jimmy Kimmel? I keep forgetting.
Fallon, Tonight Show.
Hey, Mr.
Thanks.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Hey, Mr.
Fuck
Hey,
Fallon.
Mr. Funny Man.
Yeah.
What if it was, "Tell me a joke, I'm out"?
Oh, so it was like, hey, big comedian.
Hey, so you think you're funny? Out.
That's
Game
what I'm saying.
over.
Yeah.
Corny.
Corny.
Corny dog. I got another one to add to this because it was presented to me by someone else who went on a date. They said they didn't like this. Okay, actually, I'll read their text. "Sweet or corny? Told you about getting a bonus at work on the first 15 minutes of the date." It's an interesting one. I think that
This is your first date.
you're on a first date. Things are good. 15 minutes in, you had a nice time talking on the app, and you just get first drinks, and they're like. And here's how I see this happening.
Right.
There's two ways of it happening. There's one. I'm having how you go. How's your day? And I go. I actually got notified I'm getting a bonus this week.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped. That to me, sweet.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they're telling you the amount,
Corny.
out.
I agree.
If they're saying this, just like they had a great day, they got a bonus at work, especially if he's paying, I'm like, great,
Right.
now we're getting oysters.
Right.
Now I don't have to feel bad about
Champs for
the
everybody.
over ordering.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I think there's a classy way to say it in the first 15. I thought the same thing as you. I was like,
I agree.
If
As
it's
long
the
as they're not
amount,
giving you the amount.
$40,000 bonus, bitch. That's corny.
That's corny. Yeah. But I had a
Call
great
me Johnny Cash.
I had a great day. I got a great bonus. I
Yeah.
had a great day. I got a promotion. To me, those are like sort of the same.
Right.
Things,
I'm
yeah.
cool with it. I had someone recently text me that I went on dates with.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck
Great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Did she tell you the amount?
Yeah.
Oh, she
No,
did.
she didn't. It was very intimidating. No. She didn't say. No, there's a classy way to say it. I thought she said it
Okay,
in a
what if
classy way.
you do it? You share. I got a big bonus today. It's a great day, and then they say how much?
Corny. Corny. I'm out.
I agree. First date, corny. Obviously, like if you've been like dating for a bit, I think it'd be less weird.
I guess the joke I would make, I'd be like, they hit 22% on the tip thing. When they were checking out,
Yeah, you gotta
make a joke out of that. Yeah, I would
I wouldn't be.
evade that one. I'd
Yeah.
be juking and jiving.
I agree. All right, last one. They kiss you on the forehead at the end of the date.
And we are supposed to live in a world where this date went perfect.
Yes.
It's hot. Sweet. Sweet for me.
I think
Little forehead action for me. How'd she even get up there?
a little creepy.
She's
I
8
think
foot
for a
5.
first date. Right.
What's
No,
my
she just
forehead
grabs
doing
your,
there?
She just grabs your head and kisses your
Yeah.
forehead.
I'd go out with a taller woman.
He would have to be like so smooth to be able to pull it off, where it wouldn't be like weird and awkward. If he could do it in a way that made it seem smooth,
Right.
I think I would be okay with it. But very few people, I would imagine, are able to do that. Like if I said to you, like if I gave you a challenge on your next date, find a way
It's a kiss on the forehead.
to give someone a kiss on the forehead in like the smoothest way possible.
Can I do other kisses?
You could do whatever you want.
Okay. I think I could do it. I think I could do it leading from other. It has to come from other kisses to make a forehead kiss, I think. If it was just a singular kiss in the forehead, I don't know how you do that.
It's very like, I feel like it feels like paternal.
Yeah, it's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like, it's a little condescending.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think normally corny,
Mm-hmm.
unless we're under a very specific set of circumstances.
I'm trying to think if her hands were like around like the back of my neck and we were like embracing in a certain way and she was like, okay, the cab's here.
She kisses you from your forehead down your nose.
Or she like, I don't know, down the face.
You got lipstick all over your face.
Right. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like she had her hand and then she was like, come here, baby. I don't know. Is she bosom me?
I don't know. Well,
Does that matter? I don't know.
I think
We solved dating again.
Yeah, I need to see it to know. But when it comes to snacking, corny is never a bad thing. With delicious, bold flavors like sweet and salty kettle corn, white cheddar, and sea salt, Angie's Boom Chicka Pop is the perfect match for every craving. We have the amazing sweet and salty kettle corn right in front of us, which is so good. But my personal favorite is the white cheddar popcorn. Literally, once I open it, it is very hard to stop. It is so, so good.
You walked in and it was like a hunter in the wild.
I see it's behind you. That's the only reason I've been looking this way the entire time.
Usually you keep your back to me during the podcast. No, you were on the hunt for that white cheddar popcorn.
I'm going to take it.
And here's the thing. I don't like when people give you their like stats. Oh, I don't usually like, I'm not a kettle corn guy. I'm chomping away at this stuff. It's very good.
Yeah.
Just a great snack. Delicious.
You can try Angie's Boom Chicka Pop for yourself by visiting www.boomchickapop.com. That's BOOMCHICKAPOP.com.
Well, we solved dating again.
We did it. And we'll be back on Sunday with a special SOS episode.
A very relatable one.
Great one. Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.